Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% what you do with it. And I believe that. I think when you have a problem in your life, you kind of get things a bit more in perspective. I think people expect too much. And you take a lot of things for granted, but when actually you're conscious of every breath you take, you become grateful for it. I suppose the thing that, looking back on it, stands out from now is that I had loads of energy. I did lots of walking, I was always out and about. If it's a nice day, I like to go out and I like to walk for a long way quite often. I just enjoyed walking as a thing, really. And I think that energy is something that you don't really think about. You take it for granted till you don't have it. I think if I ever reached the point where I couldn't cook, I'd be devastated. But I like to be able to create food and make people happy in that way. And that hasn't changed, that's the same. I've always been a fairly happy person, and I always tried to make the best of things, and always did before I was ill, because we all have difficulties in life, whether it's illness or anything else, and you just have to make the best of what is. So I think I have the ability to do that and try and see the bigger picture. The nicest thing ever was my GP retired, and I thanked him for looking after me. And he said it's been a pleasure to watch you deal with your illness. And I took that as a huge compliment. I think having a faith in God and a good family and good friends actually kind of helps with all of that. And in all those things, I'm quite lucky, really, or blessed, or whatever you want to say, really. I don't like to consider myself disabled, but I'm learning to do it and to say it because it's fact. If you're in a wheelchair, everyone knows you're disabled, but I kind of look fairly normal, just sitting here, you wouldn't know. I mean, yeah, you can hear my breathing sometimes, but unless I'm actually wearing my oxygen cylinder, I sometimes get out of the car. And if it's a situation where I just need to pop into a small shop, I wouldn't necessarily put my oxygen on. And then people see me get out and they think, well, what's wrong with her then? Because my legs work. There's nothing wrong with my legs. My main condition that started the whole thing out, it's called sarcoidosis. It's not terribly common, and I have what is loosely termed COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So not everyone has the condition on their lungs that I have, which is that the sarcoidosis left my lungs with hard patches on them, so they cannot expand. They simply cannot expand. If I'm just having a bad day and I've overexerted myself, I'll kind of like go into meltdown inside, and I get pains in my chest. And I actually feel like my body's falling apart. That's how it feels. And then I'll try and calm myself. And a really small thing that really helps is to open your hands and put them like this. And sort of concentrate on your breathing. You either get bitter and twisted about something, or you deal with it and decide to have as good a life as you can have. And if you've experienced difficulties, you can come alongside someone else who's not okay, and you can help them. With a chronic illness, you live with it all the time. And as you get older, it's harder to deal with because you're getting older and other things are not as easy. So the two things kind of go together. But, you just learn to live with it, really, and adapt. It's the only thing you can do.